SKS EduTube, where studying leads to knowledge, and knowledge leads to success.
Have you ever wondered what makes life on Earth so special? What sets living organisms apart from the inanimate world around us? Join us today as we embark on a journey to uncover the 7 wonders of life, the defining characteristics that make living organisms truly remarkable. Biology is the study of life, and it comes from 2 Greek words, bio, which means life, and logi, which means the study of. So, when we talk about biology, we're talking about the science that explores all the amazing things about living organisms, from the tiniest cells to the largest animals and plants. So, what is life? Well, it's like a magical spark that makes living things different from things like rocks or water. It's what makes plants grow, animals move, and you and I breathe and think. Imagine you're looking at a beautiful flower or watching a bird soaring through the sky. Have you ever wondered what makes them alive? That's what we're going to discover together today. Think about all the things you can do, like laughing, playing, and learning new things. That's all because of life. But life isn't just about big stuff like animals and plants. It's also in the tiniest creatures, like the ants marching in a line or the bacteria that help break down our food. In this video, we'll learn about how living things are made up of tiny building blocks called cells, how they grow and change, and how they can adapt to their surroundings. So let's start our journey into the wonderful world of life. Welcome to the incredible world of life, where every living organism shares 7 amazing characteristics. To help us understand what makes something alive, we use 7 specific characteristics. We can remember these characteristics with the acronym CARGOS. Let's break them down. C is for cells. Living things are made of cells, the basic units of life. Whether it's a tiny bacterium or a towering tree, all life forms are composed of 1 or more cells. A is for adaptation. Living things can adapt to their surroundings, evolving over time to survive and thrive in changing environments. R is for reproduction. Living things can reproduce, ensuring the continuation of their species through the creation of offspring. G is for growth and development. Living things undergo growth and development, progressing through distinct life stages to reach their full potential. O is for organization. Living things are organized, with cells coming together to form tissues, organs, and organ systems that work together harmoniously. E is for energy. Living things obtain and use energy to carry out life processes, whether it's hunting for prey, photosynthesizing sunlight, or breaking down food for fuel. S is for response to stimuli. Living things respond to stimuli in their environment, from plants bending towards light to animals fleeing from danger. So, remember mnemonic CARGOS: cells, adaptation, reproduction, growth and development, organization, energy, and response to stimuli, because these 7 characteristics define the wonder and beauty of life on our planet. Let's learn each of these characteristics one by one. The first wonder of life is cells. All living things are made of cells. Cells are like the building blocks that make up all living things, from tiny bacteria to giant elephants. Even though organisms may look very different, like ferns, fish, or elephants, they're all made of cells. If you look closely at any living thing, you'll see cells. They're the basic units of structure and function for all living organisms. Some organisms, like bacteria, are made of just 1 cell, while others, like humans, are made of trillions of cells. So, cells are like the building blocks of life, organizing together to create all the amazing diversity of living things on Earth. In the world of biology, life comes in 2 fundamental forms, unicellular and multicellular organisms. Let's break it down. Uni means 1, and unicellular organisms are exactly that, living beings made up of just a single cell. They're the simplest form of life, existing as solitary entities without any complex structures like tissues, organs, or organ systems. On the other hand, multi means many, and multicellular organisms are made up of multiple cells working together in organized structures. These cells come together to form tissues, which in turn make up organs, and organs work together to create complex organ systems. Despite their small size, unicellular organisms are incredibly diverse and can be found in various habitats, from the depths of the ocean to the soil beneath our feet. They carry out all the necessary functions for life within a single cell, showcasing the remarkable efficiency of nature's design. This higher level of organization allows multicellular organisms to perform specialized functions and adapt to a wider range of environments. From towering trees to majestic whales, multicellular life forms come in all shapes and sizes, each a marvel of biological complexity. So, whether it's a single-celled microbe or a multicellular giant, life on Earth showcases the incredible diversity and adaptability of living organisms. The ability to adapt to the environment is the second wonder of life, and it is a defining characteristic of all living organisms. When animals or plants change to fit better into their environment, it's called adaptation. This adaptive response ensures optimal exposure to sunlight, essential for the plant's growth and survival. Similarly, a predator stalking its prey demonstrates keen sensory perception and strategic behavior, honed through evolution to increase its chances of obtaining food. Adaptations, whether structural, physiological, or behavioral, are the mechanisms through which organisms become adjusted to their environment. Over time, adaptations are modified by natural selection. It means that the animals and plants we see today have changed from earlier forms, with some differences. They may grow special body parts, change how their bodies work, or even behave differently. Did you know that humans, cheetahs, whales, and bats all have something in common? They all have bones in their limbs that are kinda similar. But here's the cool part, even though they look alike, each one is designed just right for what that animal needs. For example, humans use their arms and hands to grab things and move around. Cheetahs have long, strong legs that help them run super fast to catch their prey. Whales have flippers that help them glide through the water effortlessly. And bats? Well, they have wings that let them fly around and catch insects in the dark. So, even though they share similar bones, each animal's limbs are perfectly suited to their own special way of living. It's like they have their own custom-made tools for getting by in their world. And that's all because over many, many generations, they've adapted to fit just right into their environment. These adaptations enhance an organism's likelihood of survival and reproduction, ultimately shaping the evolutionary trajectory of species. These changes happen because of changes in the DNA of populations over many generations. DNA is like a recipe that tells cells how to make an organism. Sometimes, the recipe changes a little bit, leading to new traits in the offspring. So, living things can sense what's happening around them and change themselves to stay alive and make more of themselves. The third amazing thing about life is how living things make more of themselves. This is called reproduction, and it's what keeps life going. Whether it's a rabbit, a tree, or a tiny bacterium, life always finds a way to create more life. The parent's genetic material, DNA, is passed on to the offspring, creating continuity of life. Reproduction can happen in different ways. Organisms reproduce by dividing in half, producing seeds, bearing live young, and laying eggs. In sexual reproduction, two parents come together, and their special cells, called gametes, join to make a new organism. This process creates offspring that are unique and have traits from both parents. It's like mixing colors to make a new one. In asexual reproduction, there's only one parent involved. The parent makes a copy of itself, and the new offspring are exactly the same as the parent. It's like making a photocopy of a picture, you get an exact replica. No matter how it happens, reproduction is crucial for the survival of a species. If a species can't make babies, it could disappear forever. The fourth amazing thing about life is how living things grow and change. All living things have this ability to grow and change. There are two components to this characteristic, growth and development. Every organism becomes larger over time. This happens because their cells become larger or they make more cells. Animals and plants get bigger as they grow. Plants, birds, and mammals grow by producing more cells to increase their mass. Bacteria grow by enlarging their cells, they divide in half to reproduce after genetic material is copied. So, when you grow taller or gain weight, it's because your cells are growing or multiplying. Development is like changing and growing up. It's not just about getting bigger, but also about changing how you look and what you can do. For example, when a baby becomes a child, they learn to walk and talk, and their body changes too. For example, when you plant a seed, it doesn't stay a seed forever. With the right conditions like water and sunlight, it sprouts into a small plant, which then grows into a big one. But a pebble, on the other hand, will always stay a pebble, it doesn't grow or change. Even the tiniest bacteria have to grow. They do this by splitting into two separate bacteria. If a bacteria doesn't grow, its offspring will be smaller and smaller until they can't function properly anymore. The fifth wonder of life is how everything is organized, from the tiniest building blocks to the whole planet. Living things work hard to keep themselves organized and working smoothly. It's like tidying up your room to make sure everything is in the right place. Just like how you need food to keep playing and learning, living things use energy to keep themselves going. It's like fueling up a car so it can keep running. Inside our bodies, tiny cells are like little factories, doing lots of important jobs. They move chemicals around to make sure everything works properly, like mixing ingredients to make a yummy cake. Living things need to stay just right on the inside, like having the perfect temperature or enough water. It's like keeping your body at the right temperature, not too hot and not too cold. Living things are not designed haphazardly. This means that everything in living things has a special job to do, and its shape or design helps it do that job well. It's like how a spoon is shaped to scoop up soup, and a fork is shaped to poke into food. Form fits function. Just like how your toy blocks fit together to build a cool castle, living things are organized from the tiniest parts to the whole world. From the smallest atoms to the biggest trees, everything is arranged in a way that helps it work properly. At the smallest level, atoms join together to make molecules, which then form bigger structures like macromolecules. These macromolecules work together to create organelles, which are like tiny organs inside cells. And cells come together to form tissues, which make up organs, and organs work together to create organ systems. Tissues form organs form organ systems, and organ systems form multicellular organisms. The idea is that the whole is greater than the composition of its parts. For example, your lungs are made up of many cells. However, the cells by themselves aren't much use. It is the many cells working as a unit that allow the lungs to perform their function. Therefore, even though one cell can function on its own, many cells can form tissues and organs which are able to perform a wider range of functions, i.e., the whole is greater than the composition of its parts. All life has a chemical basis, but the quality of life itself emerges on the cellular level. Interactions among the components of each level and the levels below it allow the development of the next higher level of organization. As we can see in this picture, biological systems have a hierarchy of organizational levels that extends from molecules and cells to individual organisms, populations, and ecosystems. Every individual plant and animal is a collection of cells. It doesn't stop there. Organisms join together to form populations. Every population is a collection of individual organisms of the same species, which then become part of ecosystems. And all the ecosystems on Earth come together to create the rich diversity of life that we see around us. So, from the smallest atom to the vast expanse of ecosystems, life on Earth is incredibly organized, creating a beautiful web of interconnectedness that supports the incredible biodiversity of our planet. The most important levels of biological organization for human ecology are populations and ecosystems. Each level of biological organization from molecules to ecosystems has characteristic behaviors which emerge at that level. The sixth incredible thing about life is its complex chemistry. Inside tiny cells, there are lots of chemical reactions happening all the time. These reactions help living things get energy, grow, and keep everything working smoothly. Many organisms must first seek out food, eat the food, break the food down into simpler molecules such as the sugar glucose, and then convert that glucose into energy. As we can see in this diagram, other living organisms cannot actively seek out food, such as a plant, and therefore instead they must first produce their own food mainly through the process of photosynthesis to create molecules such as glucose. Then only once the glucose is made can they then convert that glucose into energy. So, living things can obtain and use energy, just like how you make a sandwich with bread and toppings. Plants make their own food using sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide. They use a special process called photosynthesis to turn sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide into a yummy sugar called glucose, which they can eat. It's like mixing ingredients to make a cake. For plants, it's water and carbon dioxide with a sprinkle of sunlight to make glucose and oxygen. Water plus carbon dioxide plus sunlight, glucose plus oxygen. Just like how you sit down for a meal, animals eat food to get energy. When animals eat food, their bodies break it down into smaller pieces, including glucose. After animals eat, their bodies take the glucose from the food and turn it into energy. It's like how you eat your snacks to get energy for playing and running around. This process is called cellular respiration, and it's like burning fuel to make energy. Glucose and oxygen combine to make water, carbon dioxide, and energy. Glucose plus oxygen, water plus carbon dioxide plus energy. So, plants make food with photosynthesis, animals eat food to get glucose, and both plants and animals use glucose to make energy through cellular respiration. Living organisms acquire and use materials and energy. They use energy continuously to sustain themselves. As we can see in this diagram, materials and energy are required for them to maintain organization, to grow, and to reproduce. Important materials, minerals, water, and other simple chemical building blocks, are acquired from the air, water, soil, and bodies of other living things. The seventh amazing thing about life is response to stimuli. From the smallest microbe to the big mightiest mammal, all living things can sense changes in their environment and respond to them. It's like having a built-in radar. A stimulus is something that happens around you, like a loud noise or a delicious smell, that makes your body react in a certain way. For example, when there's a sudden loud noise, you might jump in surprise, or if you smell something yummy, like pizza, your mouth might start watering. Even animals, like sharks, respond to stimuli. If they smell blood in the water, they swim towards it looking for food. And if you accidentally touch something hot, like a stove, your body quickly pulls your hand away to protect itself from getting burned. So, a stimulus is like a signal that tells your body to do something, whether it's to move away from danger or to get ready for something tasty. Here's the another amazing part of living things. They also have a built-in thermostat that helps them stay just on right temperature, no matter what's going on outside. It's called homeostasis. For example, your body temperature stays around 37 degrees Celsius. So, even if it's freezing cold outside, your body knows how to keep warm. You might shiver to generate heat, or your body might sweat to cool down when it's hot. It's like our bodies are these awesome, self-regulating machines that can handle whatever life throws at us. And that's what helps us stay healthy and thrive in all sorts of different environments. Sensory organs in animals, like our eyes and ears, help us notice things around us, such as light, sound, and smells. Inside our bodies, we can feel things like temperature, pain, and changes in pressure. Even plants and bacteria can respond to their environment. Plants grow towards light to get energy. That's called phototropism, and it's the plant's way of soaking up as much sunlight as possible for energy. Predators, like lions or sharks, are really good at hunting in sneaky ways to catch their dinner. Even, tiny bacteria can also move towards food. So, living things can sense what's happening outside and inside their bodies, and they react to stay safe and healthy. Whether it's a plant reaching for the sun or an animal running from danger, organisms are always sensing and responding to their surroundings. So what is life then? Actually, life is the wondrous phenomenon that gives rise to the diversity and beauty of the natural world. Push your hand deep inside a sack of wheat. Do you find it is warm inside? There is some heat being produced inside the sack of wheat. The seeds respire and in that process give out some heat. We see that respiration is a process that takes place in seeds even when some of the other life processes may not be very active. Imagine life as a special spark that makes living things like animals, plants, and even tiny bacteria different from things like rocks or water. This spark gives them the amazing ability to grow bigger, make more of themselves, react to things around them, and stay healthy inside. It's like how you grow taller, learn new things, and get stronger every day. Life is all about living things being able to adapt to their surroundings, like how animals find food and plants grow towards the sunlight. It's what makes them so special and full of energy to explore the world around them.